don't need to bitch about it this week.
We weren't here last week, so you can.
I know. So yeah, as we said just in the green room, the dudes are back.
Yes, we are.
And you scared away all the chicks. Except
I know
for
what
me.
happened. We thought it would be like a blending this week of.
I know. I don't know. Well,
Mhm.
Andrea must still be on vacation up in the mountains, and Julia had some stuff, so she couldn't come in today. So
I mean, Andrea lives in the mountains. It's like
oh, I know, but she went like further in or out. I
further
don't know.
afield.
Further,
Deeper.
she went deeper. She went further afield. And then Kim, I don't know. Kim usually always comes in super hot.
Yes,
So
so
you
she
never-
still may come in.
There's still a chance that we could get Kim in here. So you just don't ever know about that. But Tom Benton, you did now tell me this. You were in Chicago
Yes.
for the Bruce Springsteen concert.
Concerts.
Okay, that's what I was gonna
Yes.
ask you. Did you
Yes.
go to both?
I did. I couldn't be in the same town where Springsteen shows were happening and not go to both.
That you are truly.
It was great.
Okay, here's my
It was-
question then.
Yeah.
Does he play the same set?
Oh, well, don't get me started. This is a whole. All right, get me started.
Okay.
This is an issue. No. Yes, it's mostly the same set with too few differences. So
Okay.
among fans like me who would like to go to every show, but have kind of a substantial difference in each show, which is what used to happen, doesn't happen anymore. I'm kind of at peace with it. And, and if you've never seen him before, it's fantastic. You wouldn't even know.
Because that's the thing is that for as expensive as concert tickets are now,
Yeah.
it's like most people can't go multiple days in a row.
right.
So it's
Yes.
like, so you would really miss. It's kind of like, I mean, I'm still amazed at Taylor Swift and doing like 6 shows in every city. That has to be exhausting to
I
do.
was thinking the same thing the other day.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Unbelievable.
supposedly everybody says they are just, every show is fantastic. All you see is great reviews about them.
Right. And she's playing just like Bruce. Bruce plays roughly 3 hours still at 73 years old.
All right.
But Taylor, so that's why I have to cut him some slack. I mean,
Right.
he doesn't want to change the set that much. I mean, the man is 73, almost 74.
Okay, Andrea Tetrick coming in. Maybe she heard us. Maybe like there was something in
Oh,
the
wow.
cosmos. She heard us talking.
I thought it was
about her.
impossible for Andrea to join us. She's in the mountains.
It's the mountains. Well, she joined us from a bar last week, so
Oh,
No surprise.
I'm kind of loving that she's coming in today. She must have heard us talking about her.
there she is.
Did you hear us talking about you?
No, what'd you say?
Good
Well,
thing.
we were.
All
we
good
were-
things.
It was still good things, but we were kind of surprised that it was the feminist show last week, and then we had the dudes taking over this week. So we're glad that you're here, Andrea.
Well, I was a tomboy, so there you go.
There you go. I love it.
All,
All
of
right.
all of my best friends, as Tallulah Bankhead would say, all of my best friends are men.
Yeah. And I'm having so nobody comment. I'm having a horrifically bad hair day. It's going to drive me
God.
insane.
Don't
The
even.
only person that might comment is Gabe. So,
Yeah.
and he's not. So.
Maybe that's what I need to do. Maybe
I
need
hadn't
to,
even
like-
noticed.
It's like this weather turns like a little humid in my hair. I don't know if you all are watch the old Friends show, the Courtney Cox one, where she's on vacation. Her hair
You're like
just
Puerto
keeps-
Rico or
Yeah,
someplace.
Yes, that's what I feel like my hair is today. It's just
I don't
keeps
even
growing.
try anymore. It's ridiculous. It's beyond help.
That's crazy. All right. I know there's good books this week. I'm going to talk about a couple. Tom, The Displacements. It's not a book that I talk
Oh, I
about.
saw that. Yeah, I saw that you read The Displacements.
Yes. And I mean, timing, we were doing it for my book club on Wednesday. Timing couldn't be any like just crazy
Worse or bad. Yeah.
worse, but with a sense of like what, if you want to understand what people are going through in Maui right now,
Yeah.
read The Displacements.
Yeah.
Because
You're right. That's perfectly put. Yeah.
yeah, because it is eye-opening on a catastrophic level of, yeah, what the book is about is a potential category 6 hurricane, but what the people in Maui are living through right now is precisely what these people go through in this book.
That's
And
very true.
it is just Oh my God, I can't. I mean, I've been doing on my own social media, like, this is the Maui Food Bank to give money to. It's just like, I'm kind of getting tired of people just showing like, oh, this is what Lahaina used to look like. It's like, these people need money. These people need
Yes.
food. These people need,
Yes.
I get that we're kind of sorry about what Lahaina, but it's just like, these people need help. It's like,
I mean,
Right?
it's all gone, there's like
It's-
no urgent cares, no hospital, nothing. Everything's just like
It's-
leveled.
gone. And so anyway, so that was one that it's
That's
just
bad.
like, it was not an easy book. It's not an easy
No.
book to read.
No, I
Um,
mean, even though I found it compelling, couldn't
Correct.
stop reading, but
Correct.
yeah, but you're right, not easy.
But it's boy, if you want some reading is supposed to build empathy, and if you want to build empathy and know what those people are going, because you're like my husband and I were talking about, and I'm sorry we're going a little long here on the preamble here, but if that's not a snapshot of disaster can happen anywhere right now,
Yes,
and it
and
is
probably will.
yeah,
We just
so
don't
it's
know where and
you
when.
don't know where, so it's just one of those things that you can have all the right things happening as far as you just don't know where disaster could strike. And anyways, so okay, off my soapbox. So Gabe, oops, wait, I've got to like let you share the screen there. Okay, so you're up, and then Tom, and then Andrea. So Gabe, take it away.
Taking it away. First book, The Injustice of Place, by Catherine J. Eden, H. Luke Schaefer, and Timothy J. Nelson. So this was a book that started off as a study, as a socioeconomic study of basically zip codes. These are the authors who published a book called $2 a Day, Living Almost on Nothing in America. Their whole focus is on the inequality of the economy of this nation primarily. So they, it started off as sort of a numbers, looking at graphs and statistics and heavy duty kind of that look of hardcore look at zip codes and poverty and who can excel and who moves out of where and what helps elevate people from the bottom 5% into the higher earning statuses and stuff like that. But it turned into much more. Digging through all that data, the ultimate message of this book is that your zip code has got a lot to do with the success or lack of success that you're going to have. There's injustice on an Indian reservation. There's injustice in urban neighborhoods. There's injustice in rural neighborhoods. No surprise, red states, red counties are particularly hit by poverty. Bad, poor social safety nets, a lot of grift, a lot of taking advantage of people. So it's really an eye-opening book. This published last Tuesday, but it's a book I've been waiting to talk about because it is an important book. I think I look at the neighborhood La Jolla here, Del Mar, all up and down the coast where we live up here in San Diego County. I was driving by the Catholic school. They got like skulls. They got like rowing skulls. You don't see that in the hood. You don't see that in urban neighborhoods or poor rural neighborhoods. Surf teams and vacations. The annual vacation, the band goes to Italy one year and Vienna 2 years later, whatever. Those kind of opportunities. The zip code has a lot to do with one's success or one's lack of being able to move upward. And it's really black and white. They back it up with numbers, but it didn't. Ultimately, it's a narrative. It's not a numbers book. It's not a boring read, but the numbers are here to back everything that they say up. So I think a very important book, particularly now. I think we're seeing a lot of inequities and a lot of nothing being done for the most part.
Oh yeah, no, super important book. And I think that this could be another soapbox that we could get on if you want to talk about the, 1%ers and the disparity that's happening. The gap that's just continuing to grow. And I think something weird's going on with Facebook. I don't know. I'm not showing that my signal's Amanda, I don't know if you're seeing anything weird, but anyways, if I don't see any comments or I don't reply to stuff, don't, it's because something's going on with my internet, I think, and Facebook. So anyways, but back to that, it's just that, the whole talk about like inflation, it's like, well, inflation and price gouging
Yeah.
and, record profits
Yeah.
during inflation. I don't know. It's just, I think that, we've got so much noise going on with like all the politics and stuff, but I think when you come and, we spend 2 years talking about political elections, it's like, we really need to figure out what's happening in how people are living.
Right, we've become too used to this inequality gap as if it's normal,
Right.
and yeah, and we're not doing enough
Right.
about
And
it.
that is what happens to some of these countries like in South America and things, I don't know. It's so anyway, so it does look like Facebook is stalling out. Amanda seems to think that too. So I don't know what's happening. It might be on the Facebook side, but we've got this recorded. So you'll show up on on Instagram.
Having trouble. I was too, so but when I
Okay.
reload it, it comes back. So I'm
Right.
not sure.
Okay. Well, we'll have this on YouTube later. If people are getting frustrated with us on Facebook, we'll always have
Yeah.
this on YouTube after. So
Well, too, this also ties in, all of this stuff about inequality ties into our ability to with the inequality in infrastructure, it ties into our inability or our ability, whatever you want to say, of dealing with natural disasters,
Yes,
Yeah,
climate
exactly.
change. I mean, it's all tied in.
Right.
And so we need to get on it now.
well, and also tied in that we are getting used to these disasters and still not doing anything, as if that's normal, and it's not.
Yeah.
But it isn't driving us to do a damn thing.
right.
I mean, they told Maui 3 years ago, you're gonna have like a major fire. Didn't seem like they did anything in Lahaina.
Well,
Terrible.
there's okay. I mean, we're getting off on some really interesting tangents here because just real quick though, there's a documentary. I can't think of the name of the queen. I'll never be able to say it correctly. But back in like the 1800s, they rerouted the water to go and feed the sugar plantations and sugar barons, which caused these dry lands to happen. So all of this stuff maybe now can be reverted back. I don't know. So
Yeah, I mean, it's really, it like harkens back to like colonial choices
right.
that did not take into play, native wisdom
Right.
and knowledge of like what was best for the island.
Okay, hold on. I just
Old
did something
story,
wrong
and
here.
it's a tragic one.
Yeah.
Hold on. I just did something really bad here. So bear with me a second. We're having some complete, we're having some complete, I don't
But
know
it's
what's
out of your control.
out of my control. But, all right. Tom, take us away. I don't know
Okay.
if we should unload and reload Facebook. I don't know what's happening.
But I should go.
You should go because we're recording. So we're
Okay.
fine.
So my book, so I feel like with this book that I'm going to tell you about, I'm starting the fall season, even though this was published August 8th, so a week ago. So it's out in stores now. This is a book that is going to carry on through the rest of the year. It's going to be on a lot of best of the year lists. I love this book. So it's exciting to have it for the end of summer. And that's James McBride's The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. One of my favorite writers, period. Deacon King Kong, we published in 2020. It was a big even in 2020, it broke through as a big bestseller. It was I can't remember, I'm sure we've talked about it, Julie, but it was, we had a McBride party in December of 2019. That was the last big event we had before the pandemic. And couldn't have been nice. Love James McBride as a person. But for me, at least, Deacon King Kong, that was my favorite book of that year. I love that book so much. So I was really excited when we have a new book, Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. I devoured it. And it's like Deacon, it's a comedy, but a comedy filled with joy and pain and but you're laughing at the same time. So it's set in, the new book is set in Chicken Hill in Pottstown, Pennsylvania, so small town America. It begins as the Deacon did in the present with the discovery of a body, and in the early 1970s. And then it takes you back to the 30s to tell you how the body, all the story that got us to that point in 1972. And the Chicken Hill is a neighborhood where immigrant Jews and African Americans live side by side. There are all of his books are filled with a chorus of characters. This is no exception. Two of the main, it's hard to say there's a main character, but two of the main characters are Moshe and Chona Ludlow, who Moshe has a theater, a live theater where he brings in musicians, and he is the first to have integrated that theater. And his wife Chona runs the Heaven and Earth, what they call the Heaven and Earth grocery store. And when they've made a certain amount of money and been very successful, that Moshe is like, let's move to the better part of town. We have the money now, let's move. And Shona's like, no, we live in this neighborhood. We serve this community. They're our friends. We're not moving. So into their world comes, there's Nate, who's a Black janitor at Moshe's theater. There's a super pivotal character who's a 12-year-old boy who's deaf, and the state of Pennsylvania is trying to institutionalize him. There's so many strands to this story, and he keeps introducing new characters, but slowly but surely he ties it all together in this beautiful, McBride is a jazz musician, composer, so you can't help but think about music and the musicality of the language, but also just how he's bringing in, there's improvisation, it feels like improvisation, and then it comes together in this beautiful way at the end. I listened to an interview with McBride today, and he mentioned, and I hadn't thought of this, was E.L. Doctorow, who I love. I always loved E.L. Doctorow, and I think there's some of Doctorow in here. So we published it last week. Unbelievable reviews, the best reviews of his career. Also, I should mention that James's first book was a very huge memoir called The Color of Water, like around 1998, which was the story of his Jewish mother, but he was a Black son of a Jewish mother, and that was a big Oprah pick. But there's a lot of his own story. It feels like in Heaven and Earth grocery store. So the reviews, raves across the board. I love that so many reviewers are basically describing this as a contender for this mythical great American novel. Maureen Corrigan on Fresh Air today said, as he's done throughout his spectacular writing career, McBride looks squarely at savage truths about race and prejudice, but he also insists on humor and hope. The Heaven and Earth grocery store is one of the best novels I've read this year. It pulls off the singular magic trick of being simultaneously flattening and uplifting. The last thing I'll say is that what I also love, the humor, just the voices, but also he has a project in his writing, which is, how do we live together? We're different, we come from different places, but we can live together. And that's the hopeful part of all of his books, both whether it's Deacon King Kong or any of his books. So, and I love the title, Heaven and Earth Grocery Store. It's all here in this book. So Heaven and Earth Grocery Store by James McBride. This will absolutely be one of the best books of the year.
And I think he does this brilliantly too, in tackling the things that he tackles with always a sense of humor.
Yeah.
Or irony or whatever you want to call it, but it's always
Right.
got something that is which is the human condition. You can't just be completely down all the time,
Right. And he doesn't, he's writing about the problems. So he's
Right.
not like denying, it's not like humor without being aware of all of
Right.
America's problems.
Correct.
It's all there.
It's all there. So he does it in a way though that is like it's life. It's
Yes.
it's but I can't believe that it was 2019 that we had the party.
I can't either.
That seems like a lifetime ago and not that long ago.
I
You know what I
know.
mean? It's just like anything that
Absolutely.
happened pre-2020 seems like,
Yeah.
but yet it wasn't really that long ago. So
And so you were there, right, Julie?
yes.
Do
Oh,
you
yeah.
remember? Do you remember we had one at the beginning of the party, you had to come up, I forget the formula, but come up with your own nicknames?
Yes,
Mine, oh,
yes.
I won't ask what yours was, but I'll
Don't.
just share mine. Little Tommy Ding Dong. There you go.
I think and you had to put a cookie because you had to put a dessert with it. So that's where the
Like,
ding dong.
it's like
came
your
from.
childhood nickname and a snack food.
Yeah,
Your
and
favorite
so
snack
mine
food.
was like your favorite snack. I think mine was like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm going to say this on live. It was Thunder Thighs Oreos
We've talked about this before, right?
because my brother used to call me Thunder Thighs.
Oh my God.
And
Well,
when
and
James McBride saw that, he was just like, he kind of did one of those like, seriously? I'm like, seriously.
Well,
And you
and
know who was
James,
there? You know who was there that night? That day was oh shoot, who was it that came? Oh, I'm blanking on her
not
name.
LeVar Burton.
The LeVar was there, but then Roxanne Gay.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Roxanne Gay was there too, and she looked at my thing. She says, "Seriously?" I'm like, "Seriously."
Yeah. Well, and I will add one last thing. Nobody does better nicknames than James McBride in his books.
Right. And that's why that was the
Yeah.
little game that we played. So anyways, we're going on very long. And again, if you're watching us on Facebook really messed up. So we've only gone through 2 books so far. So stick with us. So Andrea, you're going to be our 3rd book. So what do you got for us?
Okay. Just kind of continuing the last hurrah of summer reads. This is a book that's now in trade paper, Tom Bradby's Yesterday's Spy. This is from Atlantic Monthly Press, which is the sister press of Grove. I talk about their books a lot, as you know. $17 trade paper. Did I say that? Yes, it's a good price. And this is just a brilliantly plotted historical espionage novel set around just before the 1953 Iranian coup. So our hero, Harry Tower, newly retired from his spy work for the UK government, and also very recently widowed and drinking too much at night in his grief, is wakened up after one of his benders in the middle of the night, and his son has disappeared. His son Sean is a journalist, and he has gone missing from Tehran, after writing an article accusing some elite people in the government of some the Iranian government of some bad behavior, illegal behavior. And so Harry has to he's feeling bad. He's estranged from his son, and he rushes off to Tehran to find his son, hopefully make up for some things, some of his miscues from the past. And the whole time he's wondering, did his son disappear because he was preparing to make a globally significant story? Did he have a scoop, or is it, which is very chilling to Harry, is it his past as a spy finally coming back to haunt his family? And so I won't tell you anymore, but it's really great. This is for readers. I mean, it's just brilliantly plotted. If you like a smart spy novel, this is for you. It's a great gift because the price is right. But if you like Alan Furst, Philip Kerr, Le Carré, it's definitely in that scope. So
Love it. And Beth Doherty's on here saying, how are we at the last hurrah of summer? It's like,
I
it is
know.
crazy. It still feels like it's April. I mean,
I
I don't know what's happened to this summer at all.
I know, and I love a good spy. I love a good spy story. There's just something about them that they're just always so fascinating to me that and when they're done well, there's nothing better.
Yeah. And
There's
this
nothing
has
better.
the added chill of having a family member endangered. So
Yeah. But I love the show Americans. I love that show.
Oh yeah.
That was so good. Like, I love all the Russians.
I got to get on that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
That was good. All right, Gabe. Can't believe we're only on two. We'll go.
Round
We'll go
two.
faster this time. Round
You
two.
know me, I'm a speeding bullet,
Oh, that's every time I think it's Gabe. Just like
like Superman. Doesn't look like it, but
that cover's really good.
yeah, Council of Dolls by Mona Susan Power, who is a Pulitzer Prize winner. She's been nominated for a Penn Award. Native American writer. This is her second book. Standing Rock Sioux was her previous novel. So this is the Council of Dolls, and dolls play a big part. This is women, 3 Dakota women that are explored. Their lives are explored by Power. We have Lillian, born in the 60s, who has a doll. What is her doll's name? I can't remember her doll's name. So Lillian has a doll. Her mother also has a doll, and her grandmother Cora also has a doll. So the story is told from we begin with Lillian, 1961, thereabouts. Then we move to Lillian's mother in the 30s, and then we move to Cora in the late 1880s into the 1890s. The story, and then we work our way back again to current times, to the 60s. Used to be current times, not so current anymore. That's how old I am.
It's current to some of us.
So the story begins with Cora and her sister Blanche are sent off to the Indian school, to the transition school, the Indian boarding schools that in Native American kids used to be sent to, that were usually run by sometimes by the government, sometimes by benevolent Christian organizations. They treated the kids poorly. We've seen the bodies found up, was it in Canada, at a couple of these Native American schools where they're just digging up bodies of kids that were just left and forgotten. So the story, we work our way up from Lillian down back to Cora, and then we find that Blanche has actually been poisoned by one of the teachers at this boarding school for standing up to her. She sang one of the songs of her culture in defiance of the teacher. The teacher made her drink something like a lye and kills her. And just another body, but Cora never recovers, which sets the story as you work your way down the generations, and we're dealing with generational trauma that's passed down. I mean, they've shown that 3-4 generations down, people who were in these boarding schools have passed down the trauma. The people in concentration camps in World War II pass on that trauma, as well as as normal as you try to function. It's an undeniable fact. So this is one of those gut-wrenching novels. It's it keeps from being overwhelmingly a downer by the magic that each one of these dolls provides. And the middle character has a used Shirley Temple doll. But each of these dolls has particular magic that saves the girls, the young women in their times of trouble. And sometimes it's not enough. So it's a really great story about family, generations, culture, and things that we know about. But as we're building empathy, there's a lot going on in these Native American reservations and communities that stems from, the horrible lives that they were forced to live and removed from families and stuck into these weird situations, preachy Christian fundamentalism, colonialized by they're colonializing their own nation, kind of a thing, forbidden to use their languages. So it's quite a strong narrative. Publishers Weekly gave it a star review. I've gotten a number of requests for this book in the last week as the reviews started coming through. So it's getting some good attention. Great package.
Great package. Sounds like a great discussion book for a good, thoughtful book club.
A lot to talk about.
Yeah. When did it come out? Did it come out recently, or is it coming
This
out
came out, last week.
last week? Okay.
I have a
Tuesday.
question about her. I think we published a book by Susan Power called The Grass Dancer. Putnam did.
Oh, I remember that.
Isn't this the same author?
And I think it is.
I mean, because that I love The Grass Dancer. It was published. The editor was Faith Sale, who was legendary editor. She was Amy. She discovered Amy Tan among many other people. But since I love Grass Dancer so much, I've always wondered where has she been? And I think now it's so thrilling to have a new novel from her. It's
I
great.
think it is.
I mean, she's added.
No, I don't think it is the same author, actually.
It is or it isn't.
I don't think it is. This is just
Oh.
Susan Power from
Okay.
Chicago.
Right. Yeah, maybe not. Well,
Oh, well,
No,
we'll
it looks
solve
like-
that mystery.
Looks like a
Yeah.
different author, but I remember Grass Dancer. It had that cool, very subtle green, light
Yeah,
green.
yeah,
cover,
Yeah,
like
Amanda
grass.
just put it on the chat, so,
Yes,
yeah.
fantastic. Okay.
All right. Okay, Tom, what do you got?
So I'm going to talk about a book that we can pre-order, which I don't usually do, but this is a good one to pre-order. It's called Democracy Awakening by Heather Cox Richardson. It fits in with our larger theme, I think. So the subtitle is Notes on the State of America. So Heather Cox Richardson is a historian who every day sends out a newsletter to over 1.5 million people get the newsletter. They follow her on Substack, Facebook. But I think it's every day, or at least every weekday, she takes the day's news and puts that into historical perspective so that the craziness that we're experiencing throughout each and every day for the last however many years, she's able to put it in, like take the day's news and then put it, tell us what happened when, similar thing happened in 1865 or during the Revolutionary period. She's become a beacon of hope for a lot of readers because she brings so much gravitas to history. So the book is takes that same idea and puts it in a narrative form. So she's talking about how we got to this moment where, we might call it the brink of authoritarianism. The part one is undermining democracy. So she talks about that. So part two is the authoritarian experiment. And then part three is reclaiming America. So again, just like in her newsletter, she gives you the history, when she tells you what's happening today, but she gives you hope that we can, as a country, get through it. And something happened last week, which I don't see happening very often enough. She sent out in her newsletter about a week and a half ago, she told her readers that she had just finished doing the audiobook. Everything was wrapped up with this book. And if you know you're going to buy this book, if you're going to want this book in hardcover, pre-order it from your local bookstore. And literally every single one of my stores got a certain number of pre-orders. I'd never seen it happen. I got calls from stores. Can I get 30 more? Can I get 20 more? It was crazy. So why not take her advice? Pre-order it from Warwick's. You're gonna want it. So in the newsletter, that same newsletter, she said, in an odd way, it's a deeply personal book. It's basically my thoughts about the conversations we've all been having for the past 4 years about history, politics, democracy, and authoritarianism, based on my years of studying history and thinking about the human condition. We originally called the book All I Know, and that title would actually be pretty fair. So pre-order, it's coming out September 26th.
Oh,
I can almost guarantee it's going to be a #1 bestseller when it comes out.
She's
So
amazing.
that's Democracy Awakening.
I read her every day.
Yep.
Do
I
you?
mean, she has
Yeah.
she's pulled me off of the ledge more than once, let me tell you that.
Yeah.
I
cool.
love that. And I love that you guys are in, but it's also that book they're talking, that needs to be the good book club book that everybody
Yes.
probably needs to read. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Because
She's great. She just has this amazing ability to synthesize information and contextualize, like you were saying, Tom. And
Yeah.
I actually depend on that newsletter. I do.
Wow.
Reminds you that you're not crazy.
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
kind of love that it's coming from, because I mean, unfortunately, we just have so much, and journalists have such a hard time these days. There's always bias in journalism, no matter what. It's always been that way forever. But now with AI coming into the picture, and what do you believe and what do you not believe, it's to have somebody that's a historian that gives it to
Yeah.
you, that you trust.
Yeah,
is-
it's maybe that's more powerful than ever because of what you're saying, the situation we find ourselves in.
Right. And I think that is where previously, we'd look at historians and go, oh, Jan, it's like, oh, you're looking back, but it's like they're having a pivotal moment, the John Meachams of the world,
Yeah,
it's much more important than probably in another snapshot of history.
yeah, exactly. So pre-order Democracy Awakening.
There you go. All right. And so back to your book, Gabe, and to Tom's question, Amanda does say that it's the same author.
It's the same author.
Oh,
she
it
did-
is.
She did a
Okay.
little research in the
Used to go by
background there.
Susan Power apparently, but
Yeah.
Fascinating. That's great.
Birchbark Books had it
There you go.
noted.
All right, Andrea.
Thank you. Here to talk about Everything, Nothing, Someone, a memoir by Alice Carrier. This is I think a significant literary debut of a young woman's it revolves around a young woman's coming of age in bohemian New York City of the 90s, just as the onset of her dissociative disorder occurs. So think bohemian 1990s New York City, and then you have a major break with reality. Pretty rough. It must have been a serious ride. Okay. This book reminds me a lot. It's reminiscent of a book I talked about earlier on this show.
I kind of love that we're a show now.
Sorry, I just got all excited with the Heather Cox Richards.
I know we're gonna get a million followers.
We need if we're a show, we need a theme song, I think. Ba-da-bum-ba-da.
Yeah, exactly, right. It reminds me of also a poet by Ada Calhoun, who talks about the same period in New York with some similar themes. But this is really just amazing memoir. As you see on that cover up there at the top, Danny Shapiro says a masterclass in memoir, and it truly is. This is for readers of Prozac Nation, and I would say Girl Interrupted. That book was actually edited by Julie Grau, who is the brains, one of the two principal brains behind Spiegel and Grau. And so she knows how to publish into this category. And this is now a September Indie Next pick. And I think it's pretty remarkable that since Spiegel and Grau has come aboard and launched with us, with Fox and I, they have 4 Indie Next picks. Pretty great for a
Wow.
small little literary press. So we're happy about their prospects going forward, and they're bringing good books every season. So if you see a Spiegel and Grau title on a book, on a book table or on the shelves at Warwick's, it's something to investigate for sure. This is $28 hardcover, and it's out in stores now, even though there's an August 29th date, but it's out. So there's stock right now at Warwick. So
Awesome. And I love that you mentioned like looking at the publisher, because I think that there's sometimes people don't look at that, and I think that that's becoming ever more important. I mean, I always look at it.
Yeah.
But I think readers keep making, kind of like, Tom, when I ask about a Riverhead book, or Gabe,
Right.
when I ask a Morrow book, or, it's just like, I'm always curious, like, who's a publisher,
I mean, that's why I don't like a lot of times when somebody's talking about a book, or like, and they have all this specs on it in an article or whatever, they don't have the publisher, because that's the first thing I want to know.
Me too.
That happens way too much.
You know what I know? Okay, you know what I need to get? I need to send a little note to the Libro people, because the Libro.fm, on their first thing. They need to put that on their info page too, because it's just
Yeah.
like, that tells me immediately, it's just like, is this something I
Yeah,
want to
if
keep
it's a
looking
Grove
at?
title, you know what it is. If it's a Tin House title, you know what it is.
Correct. And
Yeah.
it kind of, the caliber of who the publishing, who's publishing it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, oh my goodness, I don't know what's happening here.
I'm just gonna show you what the, because this is, I think this is important. If I can see it, let me see. Here it is. This is what see the Spiegel and, can you see that over there?
Yeah.
Spiegel and Grau, that's their
Oh, their
infomodder,
logo. Yeah.
their logo, their infomodder on, it's all on all books, and they have that little fox because that Fox and I was their first book, which is a nice little nod. So
Yeah. Love it. Okay. Lightning round.
Boom shakalaka.
Boom. Here we go. Gabe started us off.
So paperback reprint of a classic. This is one of my all-time favorite
Oh,
books.
seriously, this is the original?
Yeah, this is Deliverance by James Dickey, published like in the late 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, this book is a book that my sister checked out of the library, and she was like, "Oh my God, this is such a good book." And I was, I don't know, I must have been in middle school, or just right into high school. And I remember picking it up, and it was like, "Oh my God, you talk about sweaty palms, you talk about tense, you talk about really well-written book." I mean, I could tell back then that James Dickey was something special, and I just was like a moronic. I just used to read for fun, but this book nothing wrong with this book. It is such a great book. It's one of the Modern Library's like top 50 books of the 20th century. It's Modern Library's top 100 books of the century. James Dickey won a National Book Award, I think for poetry. I can't remember. He's also a terrific poet. Inveterate drunk. He was an alcoholic, deep alcoholic, but what a Southern writer, what a great poet, what a great writer. I can't say enough about James Dickey, but this book is, I don't have a top 10 island list. There's just too many books and too many records, etc. But this is one that I want to reread, and it's just like, it was so intense. I'm like, I don't know if I can handle it again, but it's a great read. I put it into every one of my accounts. Everybody's got this book in their store.
I don't think I've read it.
I'll
should.
send copies around, man, because it is so worth reading.
I mean, of course, I've seen the movie.
Right.
But,
The movie was good and
It was.
intense, but the novel was like, I mean, that last scene is very benign, and it is it's not a violent or anything, the very last scene of the book, but it just pops into my head all of 50 years later.
Well, we were talking about going to backlist. So for all of you people
Yeah.
who want to talk about backlist, there is one for you. But this must have been, because I've been seeing this must have been popping up because of the redo of this book, or the reissue of it. I've been seeing things on social media about like the crazy stuff that went on with making the movie and who they were going to have in the movie, and how, Burt Reynolds was a complete unknown at the
Right.
time when the movie was made.
And probably it was risky for Burt Reynolds, because I think he was a TV actor before that, and then
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
probably
that
a risky
detective show,
movie
yeah.
for him.
But yeah, there was some really interesting stuff. I don't even remember what I was looking at, but I kept thinking, it's like, I wonder why Deliverance is popping up. So this probably has
This
something to
explains
do with
it,
it.
right?
Yeah. All right, Tom, what do you got?
Wow, hard to follow up Deliverance. I'm gonna go with light, fun, end of summer reading.
There you go.
New in paper,
Oh.
Killers of a Certain Age. So this is a perfect lightning round pick. This was a great success in hardcover. Surprised us daily. Like the sales just kept going and going and going. It just captured what people wanted, which is apparently 60-something, a group of 60-something assassins who have now been put out to pasture by their organization, because the organization now relies more on technology than traditional assassins with people skills. So it's about how they fight back. And the Washington Post put it best: the Golden Girls toting Uzis, Jessica Fletcher packing heat, Miss Marple in the library wielding nunchucks,
Oh, God.
by turns comical, violent, and unexpectedly affecting. So brand new in paperback tomorrow, Killers of a Certain Age.
Love it. Okay, do
Really?
you know that the Golden Girls were, those actresses were only in their 50s when that show started?
No,
Oh yeah, that's another one that's popped up. That's just
I'm
like,
turning off my video, I'm muting myself, I'm.
right? It's just like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
That's crazy. So yeah.
Yeah, I believe you.
The magic of the Dream Factory.
Yeah, I
there you
mean,
go.
what's her name from Archie Bunker?
Ma,
Edith.
who played Maud,
Edith, yeah.
or no, Maud.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, Bob, but Edith Bunker, she
Oh,
was
oh.
like 42 or something when she was.
Oh,
killed.
oh,
Jean,
Yeah.
what was her
Gene
name?
Not
oh.
Stapleton.
Gene
but-
Stapleton.
Gene
Was it Gene
Stapleton.
Stapleton? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, Andrea. I'm gonna wrap it up with my book choice. So you're our second to last.
Okay, this is an easy one. 100 Kisses Around the World. From Clavis, a big kids publisher from Belgium. This is Mac van Goggeldonk. It's his book. This is really so sweet. How can you not love this? Like, the monkey kisses well, that doesn't.
Elephant.
It's out of, but okay, so like the animal who gets kissed passes it on to the next, another kiss and another animal somewhere else around the world. It is so sweet. It's gentle, simple text. It's got a padded cover, perfect for toddlers and toddlers' parents, aunties, uncles, grandmas, grandpas who are reading this cute little book. 100 Kisses Around the World. That's $12.95.
Animals
That-
kissing other animals. Where does it end?
Let's start.
That is adorable.
Very cute.
It is so cute, and there's copies at Warwick's right now.
Perfect.
Perfect little gift.
Perfect little gift. Love it. Okay, I'm going to Gabe, I can't remember. Were you here when Tom Lake came out? Did we talk about Tom Lake?
I think I was gone that week.
Okay.
I've been here for 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah, but oh man, so Tom Lake, one of my favorite books of the summer, absolutely. As with everybody's favorite book, Reese pick, everybody's
Seems that
doing
way.
it.
It seems that way.
Everybody, Tom Lake was it. But here's my next favorite one that's coming out tomorrow. I love me some Alice Hoffman. So she's done it again. I just think Alice, as Ann Patchett is just a phenomenal storyteller. So is Alice, and her book's coming out tomorrow. It's The Invisible Hour. This is a standalone. It's not part of the Witches series that she does, but it's a kind of an homage and love letter to libraries and how important they are to this one character and her growing up where she grew up. It does what Alice does great, is she puts a little bit of magic in, and we get to go back in time to Nathaniel Hawthorne. So it's a little bit of a love letter to him as well. So just a really solid Alice Hoffman. I love her. And so she will be at we're taking her to the university. She's doing a luncheon at the Coronado Library with the Coronado Library on Friday. So if you're in the San Diego area, and part of the San Diego Festival of Books, we're going to be hosting her at USD on Friday night as well. So
Oh, nice.
if you're in town and want to see Alice Hoffman, who I just adore, and I adore Ann Patchett too. Ann Patchett's got to share Ann Patchett invited me to share her. I was standing with a bunch of booksellers, and I know her from like my compatriot. We were at a book conference, and she goes, "Julie, you need a ride to an airport?" Because we're all in like this taxi line. And I'm like, "Sure." So got in Ann's car.
Going with that.
Nice.
The other
Driven to the
booksellers were kind of like,
The
okay,
stink eye.
yeah,
Can I throw in a little literary history?
yes,
So Alice Hoffman, I mentioned the great Faith Sale, who we lost way too early. She published The Grass Dancer. She published the early Amy Tans. She also was the editor of the early Alice Hoffmans, all of the Seventh Heaven, Practical Magic, you name it. So one of my favorite people.
There's a little bit of his. I love. Those are the kind of legacies, though. Imagine discovering, like,
Right.
and that they become these just in the lexicon of literature. They're just.
Yeah.
If you are in San Diego this weekend, we have the San Diego Festival of Books. So we've got lots of panels and fun things. I'm actually going to be a moderator of a panel with Stephen Rowley,
Oh, nice.
the Celebrants, and Liz and Lisa, who wrote Forever Hold Your Peace. So Gabe, I know you'll be in town. Don't come heckle me.
Don't wear your Birkenstocks.
I might
do
be
something-
there
do something
and
about your
I
hair.
might heckle you.
And I gotta do something about my hair. Do something with my hair and don't wear the Birks, and Gabe won't heckle me.
I mean, unless I find something else. I mean,
I'm sure
Exactly.
there'll be something there. All right, everybody. Happy reading. Stay cool wherever you're at. Stay safe. And we'll see everybody next week. Bye.